Have you ever watched a wrestling match and thought, these people couldn't possibly be related? Well, wrestling fans, you're about to get surprised. Behind the roaring crowds, flashing lights, and over-the-top personas of WWE, there are some family connections that most people would never guess. Wrestlers who appear to be complete strangers on screen sometimes share blood ties in real life. From cousins and uncles to brothers-in-law, these connections are not just trivia. They've shaped careers, created unexpected alliances, and occasionally sparked tension. Today, we're diving into a list of WWE wrestlers who are secretly family. Buckle up, because some of these connections will leave you stunned. Wrestling Sphere, let's go. Starting with one of the most surprising pairings in wrestling history, Jerry Lawler and the Honky Tonk Man. On paper, these two could not seem more different. Jerry the King Lawler is a Memphis legend, a figure whose presence in the 1970s and 1980s practically defined the city's wrestling scene. Honky Tonk Man, meanwhile, dazzled fans as an Elvis-inspired showman, brash, flamboyant, and designed to annoy the audience to the point of obsession. And yet, in real life, Jerry and Wayne Ferris, the man behind Honky Tonk Man, are first cousins. Lawler's reputation in Memphis made him the centerpiece of the Continental Wrestling Association. He wasn't just a local hero, he was a symbol of the city's golden wrestling era. Fans would fill arenas just to see him perform, and his success opened doors for Ferris when he decided to enter the business. Wayne teamed with Larry Latham to form the Blonde Bombers in 1978, a modest start that eventually led to more memorable moments, like the infamous concession stand chaos in Tupelo in 1979, an event etched into Memphis wrestling lore. Ferris's career took off when he joined WWF in 1986, reinventing himself as Honky Tonk Man, a heel who could frustrate audiences like few others. Ironically, by the time Lawler reached WWF in 1992, Ferris had already left, so these cousins never really shared the spotlight on wrestling's biggest stage. Still, knowing they were family adds a whole new layer to their stories. Next up, we have Cody Rhodes and Typhoon, a connection few modern fans would ever guess. Cody, a household name in contemporary wrestling, is actually related to Fred Ottman, who is better known as Tugboat and Typhoon. Ottman is Dusty Rhodes' brother-in-law, making him Cody and Dustin Rhodes' uncle. Growing up, Cody was surrounded by wrestling not just through his father, but through uncles who each brought unique lessons from the squared circle. Fred Ottman had made his mark in WWF in the 1980s and 1990s as both Tugboat and Typhoon, later infamously appearing as Shockmaster, a debut remembered for all the wrong reasons. Yet beyond the comedy of that infamous stumble, Ottman's influence on Cody's upbringing and early exposure to wrestling cannot be understated. The Rhodes family connections extend further. Cody and Dustin also have another uncle, Jerry Sags of the Nasty Boys. While Sags' persona in the ring was chaotic and abrasive, off-screen he was a mentor, providing guidance and insight to his nephews. Between Dusty Rhodes, Fred Ottman, and Jerry Sags, Cody and Dustin essentially grew up in a wrestling classroom, learning from multiple family members who had all walked different paths in the business. This network of experience helped the brothers adapt and thrive in their own careers, allowing them to navigate the complex world of professional wrestling with confidence and versatility. Another fascinating link exists between Bret Hart and Rowdy Piper. At first glance, this relationship might seem impossible, but Piper was deeply connected to the Hart family through Stu Hart, the patriarch who mentored countless wrestlers. Their familial bond wasn't just a footnote, it translated into mutual respect and trust that was evident during in-ring performances, most notably their match at WrestleMania 8. Piper's recognition of Bret's talent went beyond professional courtesy. He had genuine affection and loyalty for the Hart family. This bond carried through even in tough times, such as when Bret suffered a stroke in 2002. Piper was the only wrestling peer to visit him in the hospital, demonstrating that their connection was real, personal, and profoundly meaningful. Then there's the connection between the Sheik, the original, and Sabu, one that almost defines the term legacy. Sabu became one of the daring, risk-taking wrestlers in ECW, known for extreme stunts, table crashes, and unthinkable moves like diving through barbed wire ropes. That fearlessness can be traced back to his family. Sabu idolized the Sheik, who not only inspired his style, but also served as a mentor figure. This was a bond that went beyond genetics. It was the passing down of philosophy, daring, and a commitment to an extreme wrestling style that defined a generation. Another subtle but intriguing connection exists between Great Valentine and Brian Knobbs. Through marriage, Knobbs became Valentine's brother-in-law, a relationship that most fans would never guess just by watching their matches. In the early 1990s, Valentine performed alongside Honky Tonk Man in Rhythm and Blues, while Knobbs was dominating as part of the Nasty Boys. On screen, they'd seemed worlds apart, but the family link added an extra layer of trust and understanding to their encounters. Knowing you're facing a family member can make brutal matches a little more manageable because there's an unspoken respect beneath the aggression. Zelina Vega's story is another one that illustrates how family can shape opportunity. Before making a name for herself in WWE, Vega, then performing as Rosita, was strongly influenced by her cousin Amazing Red. Red had already built credibility in the independent scene and TNA, earning respect for his speed, creativity, and in-ring charisma. His reputation helped open doors for Zelina, providing her with a pathway into professional wrestling that might have otherwise been closed. By 2010, she was ready to make her in-ring debut, carrying not only her personal ambitions, but the lessons and inspiration from her cousin. Vega would go on to become a prominent presence in NXT and the main roster, proving herself as a star in her own right, while honoring the influence that family connections can have on success.
One of the more unexpected links is between Hulk Hogan and Mike Awesome. Yes, you heard that right. Awesome was related to Hogan through Hogan's nephew, Michael Balea. Despite this connection, it never played a major role in Awesome's career. Unlike many wrestlers who benefit from a famous family name, Mike Awesome carved his path independently. He became known for his power and intensity in ECW during the mid-1990s, delivering matches that fans remember for their raw energy rather than any inherited fame. Even when he arrived in WCW in 2000, the family tie didn't translate into an advantage. Instead, he faced inconsistent booking and gimmicks that failed to capitalize on his established persona. In the end, this connection exists mostly as an interesting footnote, highlighting that sometimes a famous relative doesn't guarantee opportunity. Another surprising cross-industry family connection is Sasha Banks, better known as Mercedes Moné, and legendary rapper Snoop Dogg. These two are first cousins, a fact that fans might never guess given their different career paths. Banks has openly discussed their relationship, and Snoop's involvement in WWE as a celebrity guest has made their connection more visible. This link isn't just a fun trivia fact, it shows how wrestling and pop culture sometimes intersect in ways fans never anticipate, tying family, fame, and performance together. Shawn Michaels and Matt Bentley also share a surprising familial bond. While Michaels rose to legendary status as the Heartbreak Kid, Bentley's career was more modest. Training under Michaels in the early 2000s, Bentley got a start in WWE and Ring of Honor before eventually moving to TNA. Despite their connection, they never really had the chance to wrestle on the same platform, which made the relationship more ironic than career-defining. Bentley carved out a respectable career, winning the X Division Championship twice and leaving a footprint in TNA history, but he never became the next Shawn Michaels. Yet, that family tie provides an interesting lens for examining how influence and mentorship can pass through bloodlines, even if fame doesn't. Family ties continue with John Laurinaitis and Road Warrior Animal. These brothers grew up in the same household, yet their paths in wrestling diverged dramatically. Animal became a legend of charisma, power, and tag team dominance with the Road Warriors, while John made his mark primarily as an authority figure in WWE, a role that often drew frustration from fans. The contrast between their careers underscores just how differently siblings can navigate the same industry, with one achieving widespread acclaim and the other being remembered more for backstage influence than in-ring heroics. Adding another layer, the Bella twins, Nikki and Brie, are connected to Road Warrior Animal through marriage. Their mother married John Laurinaitis, making Animal a family member by extension. It's a fascinating twist, linking two stars from the WWE's glamorous divas era to one of the most intimidating figures from the hardcore wrestling world. This connection is unexpected, yet it's emblematic of how wrestling families can stretch across eras and personas, uniting seemingly disparate legacies. Finally, the Guerrero family has its own extended network. Eddie Guerrero's daughter Shaw married Aiden English, connecting him to one of wrestling's most celebrated dynasties. While Eddie passed before Aiden became part of the family, the connection is significant. Training together at the WWE Performance Center, Aiden met Shaw and their bond grew into marriage. English's on-screen career, including NXT appearances with the Vaudevillains, provided him visibility, but it was his integration into the Guerrero family that truly linked him to wrestling history.
It's a reminder that family in wrestling isn't always about blood, it's about shared passion, mentorship, and legacy. These connections remind us that behind the characters, storylines, and glitz of WWE, there's a web of real-life relationships shaping careers. Whether it's cousins inspiring each other, uncles mentoring their nephews, or marriages intertwining different wrestling dynasties, the family element adds depth to every match and every storyline. Some of these connections shaped opportunities, some created trust in the ring, and others simply serve as fascinating trivia for fans who think they know everything about wrestling. So, which of these wrestling family surprises blew your mind the most? Was it the cousins you'd never guess, the siblings with completely opposite careers, or the unexpected celebrity links? Whatever your pick, it's clear that the wrestling world is far more interconnected than most viewers realize. It's a family business, literally and figuratively, and those connections often shape both the stories we see on screen and the history behind the scenes. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Wrestling Sphere so you never miss another deep dive into the fascinating, sometimes bizarre world of professional wrestling.